Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news of improving investor sentiment. The latest dairy auction this morning saw prices rise a modest 1.4% from the last event 2 weeks ago, but masked in that was a 5.5% rise in whole milk powder prices. In New Zealand dollars, prices are only up 0.5% from the last auction. Since the beginning of the year, they are 9% lower. Since this time last year, they're 23% lower. And that is aided somewhat by the fall in the exchange rate. In US dollar terms, year on year, prices are 33% lower. In the US, February car sales reports show no sign of decelerating, as most major automakers posted big gains from a year ago, which those year ago numbers weren't too shabby themselves. And this was despite fears of an eventual slowdown after a record 2015. And American construction spending in January surprised on the high side too. And if you needed evidence that the world's financial markets are in an odd place, there is more today. Japan, the world's most heavily indebted nation, is now getting paid to borrow. The Japanese government, for the first time overnight, issued benchmark 10-year bonds with negative yields, meaning it is effectively charging investors for the privilege of lending it money. Maybe the situation is not so risky internationally. 90% of their debt is held by Japanese investors, and more than a third of it is held by their central bank. In Europe, their jobless rate fell for a third consecutive month in January, dropping to its lowest rate since August 2011. That is at 10.3% in January from 10.4% in December. The number of people unemployed fell by 105,000 to 16.6 million. But the variation between countries is large. In Germany, the unemployment rate is 4.3%. In France, it's 10.2%. And in Spain, it's just over 20%. On Wall Street this morning, equities are up almost 2% as investors return to a risk-on mood. This follows healthy rises in Shanghai, Tokyo and Australia yesterday. There are also some signs commodities are back in favour. In New York, the benchmark US Treasury yield is up this morning at 1.84%. CDS spreads are falling noticeably, however, even the Australasian corporate ones. Local swap rates will start today even lower than the record lows we saw yesterday, and the 2-year yield is almost at a record all-time low as well. We could well achieve that distinction in today's trading. The oil price is marginally higher again today at $34.50 a barrel in the US, while Brent is at $37 a barrel. The gold price is slightly lower at $1,230 an ounce. The New Zealand dollar will start today at 66.2 US cents with a minor bounce from the dairy auction, at 92.3 Aussie cents and at 61 euro cents. The TWI is at 71.4. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.